This is Friday. That's right. That is Friday today. So what does that mean? It means it's the release day for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set. So what I figured I'll do is I went over to my local gaming shop, Backstage Hobbies and Hobbies, over here in the small town of Manistee. That's as far as we're going to end up going. But I ended up going there for the pre-release. So that was last week. I ended up picking up the pre-release kit. I cracked her open, and I did all mediocre. I didn't do great. I didn't do horrible, but I had a little bit of fun. Got to see some new cars. What I figured would be fun is we'll take her out, go through, see what we have, and do what I end up doing through any kind of event that I end up doing with that. So, without further ado, let's switch on over to the pet cam and let's start investigating, having a shell of a time. Cowabunga! Cowabunga! Which has the Ninja Turtle logo. I believe that's the D20. And then it has the Planeswalker logo at the bottom. Now, this is a spin down because, like you can see, if I go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, if I keep on going over there, I'm going to be able to count myself down. Real good way to keep track of your life total. However, it does get knocked over. And throughout the night, I was using that app, Smart Mic Organization here that I have. So it's important to say that this is going to be a sealed event. This is where you're going to end up cracking the packs. You're going to open up the packs and build from whatever you have inside those packs. The lands, you don't have to really count. And for your packs, you end up having a land station that's going to be at your pre-release. So we're going to end up treating that like this. I was smart enough. I ended up dividing what the winnings was. And I think also the packs. What I like to do is display this big mess that I have of a table. Bring it up a little bit. And we'll have a little bit of fun that we're going to end up doing it. I normally take out the tokens. So you see the token there. I normally take those guys out. And I start breaking down my colors. So obviously, green's going to be all in this one area. White will be in one area. And now I know this is an artifact. What else kind of sorts like this? The main value is white, red, white. Lands, I talk to tokens. I revisit this when I get to that build, and if I end up using that base, I'll end up using it. Green. Excuse me, I should have spoiler. Black. Multicolor takes multiple sections, so as you can see, Ice Cream King is a multicolor, just like Barbie. So I'll end this section. Black. Slide this mouse over. Black. Multicolor. Open face. Angus Rock. Future Tails. Punk Frogs. Foot Ninjas. Picture Kitty. Nobody. Punk Frogs. Blue. Red. Blue. White. Multicolor. White. Red. Black. White. Colorless. White, black, and red. And then, so this is going to be all 6 packs that I have open, and I'm going to have it nicely sorted. Not got a good way to really show everything. The promo pack, or you end up getting one promo pack that you can end up using. You can end up using that in the deck. This is Donatello, Gadget Master. Costs 2 and a blue legendary creature, so it could be your commander. Mutant Ninja Turtle. Man, if they had the teenage on there. It's a 3/2 body, and it has whenever Donatello deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of a target artifact you control. Has a little sneak cost, and that is going to be 1 and a blue, so you can end up doing that. So what happens with sneak is this is activating an ability, or you're casting the card with the sneak cost. But if you have an unblocked attacker, you can bounce that back to your hand and have this attack instead. It's not too bad. It's an alright thing. We are looking right over here. We are white and blue. As you can see, we have 2 Return to the Sewers, which are 3 and a blue. Target creature owner puts the top card, or target creature's owner puts it on top, or their choice of top or bottom of their library. Create a mutagen token. We had 2 of those, which seem pretty good. A negate is a counter a non-creature spell. Ooze Bill costs 1 and 2 blue. It's a counter target spell. Create a mutagen token. Katsuni, Dragon's Daughter. Maybe I should just end up going through the uncommons and stuff like that. I'll go from anything that's an uncommon and up, unless it's a really bomb one before it'll be an uncommon. But that makes that we have to go Katsuni, Dragon's Daughter. Costs 4 and 2 blue. Legendary creature. Fox Warlock Avatar. It's a 6/6 vigilance. And when it enters the battlefield, or when it enters or deals combat damage to a player, you may exchange control of 2 other target creatures you controlled by different players. Ortum Scientist. 2 Mind Transfer Protocols. These are really good if you have an artifact deck, because you can end up making them into creatures. Donatello, Way with Machines. Costs 2 and a blue. Legendary creature, Mutant Ninja. It's a 1/2 flying, and whenever an artifact you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And this is that fancy baby art that they have. Stockman, Mad Flyus. Wraithlay, Mana Ray. Costs 3 and a blue. It's a fish mutant. It's a legendary creature. It's a 3/3 flying, and when it enters the battlefield, create a mutagen token. And a mutagen token, you can pay 1, tap it, and sacrifice it. Put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature. You only can activate those as a sorcery, though. And then we get to we could pay 2, remove a +1/+1 counter from a creature you control, draw a card. Does machines. So that's an interesting thing. This is going to be a class, so you want to end up treating this like it's a saga. You only can go up to the next level, so you pay for each one of these that you end up wanting to go up to. At the first time, when it enters the battlefield, you mill 2 cards, draw 2 cards, and then discard 2 cards. If we pay a blue and 1, we go up to level 2, and then we get to return target 2 artifact cards from your graveyard to your hand. And then the final one costs us 1 blue and 4. At the beginning of combat, on your turn, you put 3 +1/+1 counters on a target artifact you control. If it's not a creature, it becomes a 0/0 robot creature in additional to its other types. And then we have Donatello Donatello Turtle Techie. Costs us 3 and a blue. It's a 3/4. I know that I said just the uncommons, but this is a Ninja Turtle, so we gotta cover that. When it enters the battlefield, if you control artifact, draw a card. Simple, straight to the point. Like I said, I felt like we're a little bit light in the blue department. The next point that I felt like that we were decent in is black, where we have 2 Bebops, Warthog, Warrior. Swamp Cycling is the big keynote from that, where we could end up paying 2 and look for a swamp and put it into our hands. A 1-drop with Squirrel Lloyds, that's Death Touch. Another 1-drop with Dream Beavers. So those are going to be solid cards that you could end up having for your Sneak deck. Sneak's normally black and white, and that's where you end up being able to bounce a creature and come back to your hand. And then the other ones is that you have +1/+1 counters, and that's going to be blue-green. Red-white with, I believe it's Alliance. And then you also have green-black food that could go over with it. And there was one other archetype that comes over with. And I can't remember right off the top of my head. Maybe it'll come over as we're talking about it. Paramelic Cullix. Costs us 1 and a black for a 2/2 zombie warm. When this enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. And when this creature dies, you may exile it. When you do, put a target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. And this is another decent ninja that you can end up having. It's a Rukusaki Shredder's Rising. Costs us 2 and a black. It's a human ninja. It's a 3/1. It has to sneak off a 1 and a black. When it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. You have Splinter Hamato Yoshi. Costs us 1 and a black. Evidently, it's a Mutant Ninja Rat. 1/3 body. It has sneak cost of 1 black. Has menace, so that means it has to be blocked by 2 or more creatures. Other ninjas you control get +1/+1. So it's a nice little lord for your ninjas. Cloning Shredder. Oh, legitly a saga. Costs us 4 and 2 black. Exile a target creature from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of it, except for it's a legendary and a mutant in additional to its other types. And then at the second and third saga, so that your next turns that you end up having, is you create a token copy of a card exiled with this saga, except for it's not legendary, it's a mutant to its other types. Stomp by the Foot. Shredder's Revenge. So as you saw, that's a little bit more of the black. I would say a slight nod. I wish there was a little bit more that was in the deck. Now we're going to dive over into red, where we have two town musicians. Zog Triceratops, Castaway, has Mountain Cycling. Bot Bashing Time. Purple Dragon Punks. Raphael, Most Attitude. Costs us 3 and a red. Legendary creature, Mutant Ninja Turtle. So 4/3 has menace. So there we go. It can't be blocked, or it has to be blocked by 2 or more creatures. And then Alliance. This is that one mechanic I was talking about. That's red-white is the constant thing with that. And that's whenever another creature you control enters, you may exile the top card of your library. Whenever Raph attacks until end of turn, you may play exile card with Raph. And then we have the other art of the Raphael with the Most Attitude. It's a foil. Manhole Missile. Raph, a tough turtle. Costs us 1 and a red. It's a 1/3 body. Has alliances. Whenever another creature enters, Raph does 1 damage to target opponent. Null group, biological assets. And we have a mythic rare here with a broadcast takeover. 2 and 3 red. Gain control of all artifacts your opponent controls until end of turn. Untap them, and they gain haste until end of turn. It's a sorcery. Red is a little bit low too. Wonder what I was thinking when I ended up doing what I ended up doing. But hey, okay. Then we have April O'Neil. I guess it's better to do what I was doing before. Malto Guardian Stance. Oh, we had 2 April O'Neils. My bad. Mighty Mandibles. Dimensional Exile. It's a 1 and a white. Enchanted basic land you control. When this enters, exile a target creature an opponent controls until this aura leaves the battlefield. We have an Uneasy Alliance. It costs us 1 and a white. It's an enchanted creature. It can't attack or block. You pay 5, sacrifice this aura, exile enchanted creature. You gain, or you create a 1/1 black ninja creature token. Activate only as a sorcery. Action News Crew, 1 and a white. The big thing is that I want to go over with it is that you see it has channel. We can pay 6, so you got the channel 6, which is awesome because that's a big Ninja Turtle lore. Discard this card, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature that you control, and draw a card. We got 2 of those bad boys. Grounded for life. Costs 4 and a white. It's an instant. This costs 3 less to cast if the creature is tapped. If not, and then it's destroy a target creature. And now another good card that's going to be going good for your sneak deck is this Featherbrain Flincher. Costs 1 white. Flying. And the big part that is good is because when this leaves the battlefield, create a food token. Food tokens you can end up paying 2 and sacrificing them, and you gain 3 life. So that's a good way because you're getting value for when it does leave the battlefield, and then you keep on replaying it because it's cheap. So it's a really good sneak target that you can end up having. Quintessential Katana costs 1 white. It's an equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has whenever this creature deals combat damage, untap it, and you gain 2 life. Whenever a ninja you control enters, you may attach this equipment to it. Its equip cost of 2. And now we have Turtles Forever. Costs 3 and 1 white. It's an instant. It's a rare that you get out of the deck, and you search your library or outside the game for exactly 4 legendary creature cards you own with different names. Then you reveal those cards, and an opponent chooses 2 of them, put the chosen cards into your hand, and shuffle the rest into your library. Some shenanigans that you have there. Probably go with the ones that I have the most of, and that is going to be green. So we have 2 Ragamuffin Raptors. We have the Novel Nunchaku. Costs 2 and a green. It's an equipment, and when this enters the battlefield, attach it to a target creature. When you do, equipped creature fights up to 1 target creature that the opponent controls. That means each creature deals its damage, or its damage equal to its power to one another. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has trample. Has equip cost of 3, so you can pay 3 to equip it to a creature. Next up is 2 guacamole and marshmallow pizzas. West Wind Avatar. Costs 5 and 2 green. Cat Spirit Avatar is a 7/7, has trample, and then whenever this creature enters or attacks, you may sacrifice a token or a land. If you do, gain 3 life. It has disappear, so this is going to be one of those other mechanics that's in there. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent left the battlefield under your control this turn, draw a card. So like those mutagen tokens or those food tokens, once they end up going bye-bye, you can end up having that. Or if they kill something, that can end up going off as well. Carrier of the Consumables is a 1 and a green. And this is an uncommon. It's a human citizen. It's a 1/2. And then when it enters, you may search your library for a food card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle. If you don't put a card into your hand this way, create a food token. And then we have Mikey's go-to, Cowabunga. We have 2 of them. One's being a foil that's a little bit sketchy with how shape it is. But we get to look at the top 4 cards of your library, reveal a Mutant Ninja Turtle or a land card from among them, put it into your hand, and put the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. And then we got 2 Rocksteadies. A big thing about these guys is that they have forest cycling. Michelangelo, weirdness to 11. Costs 1 and a green. Mutant Ninja Turtle. So 1/1. And then when it enters the battlefield, create a mutagen token. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put onto a creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters, or that many +1 of the +1/+1 counters are put on there instead. So this is a hardened scales on a body that costs 1 more with a 1/1 body. But what you can end up doing is when you put 1 +1/+1 counter, you actually put 2 +1/+1 counters on there. I know the wording's a little bit wonky with that. Continuing down the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle line is Michelangelo, Game Master. Costs 2 and a green. And it's a Ninja Turtle, mutant, 3/3. And it has disappear, which we already covered that. And then if that ends up happening, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on Michelangelo. Leatherhead, Swamp Stalker. Costs 2 and 2 green for this Crocodile Mutant Rogue. It's a 5/4. And I guarantee you're going to end up liking this because it has trample and it enters with a hexproof counter on her. Whenever Leatherhead deals combat damage to a player, you may remove that counter from her. Oh, wait, that's even better yet. Whenever you may remove a counter from her, and when you do, destroy a target artifact or enchantment the player controls. We got the Mutant Chain Reaction that costs 2 and a green, so sorcery. Destroy up to 1 target artifact, enchantment, or a creature of flying. Create a mutagen token. And then we have some tenderizing to do. So I have to say our biggest one is green that we have. And then after we get through all of this, I'll end up saying what I ended up doing. Oh, I do think it was a little bit of a mistake, but we'll be able to learn from there. And now, what we're going to end up going over here is so give me a quick second. Let me flash right on through and get everything together here. We have Hinchbots. It costs us 4 colorless for a 2/3 robot. When it enters the battlefield, exile a target tap creature an opponent controls until this creature leaves the battlefield. And then we got 1 mechanized Ninja Cavalry costs 1, and this is the hybrid meta, so you can pay either a red or a white. If you're playing Commander, it can't be in a monocolor deck. The color deck, it would have to be as a red or a white. That's something to be noted for Commander itself. But in a draft or in a sealed, it doesn't matter. When this creature enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 colorless robot artifact creature token. I didn't do too good of keeping those separated, did I? And then we got 2 Punk Frogs. 3 Nobody. 1, 2, 3 Ice Cream Kitties. Foot Ninjas. Putrid Pal. Genghis Frog. This is another one that goes with the good with the +1/+1 counters. Pizza Face Gas Mancher. So this is costs 3 and a black and a green for a 2/4 legendary artifact creature food token. Or food mutant, not token. When it enters the battlefield, create a food token. Disappears. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent left the battlefield under your control, put 3 +1/+1 counters on the 1 target artifact or creature. If this isn't a creature, it becomes a 0/0 mutant creature in addition to its other types. You can pay 10, tap it, sacrifice Pizza Face, and gain 15 life. So this is another good food commander, I would say. And what you end up having is this would also go with your food deck. This is really what push you over into that section. Mutant Mousers, or Mouser Mark III. And then we have 2 Tainted Treats. This is a flashback that comes over to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, where Toka Reza, where they ended up giving them the little tainted donuts. It's an instant. It costs 1 black and a green. Destroy a target artifact or creature. If its mana value is 4 or less, create a treasure or food token. Create a food token. So we got 2 of those. So that's what we ended up opening up. Food for thought is we ended up opening up 2 non-basic lands, and that is going to be Foot Headquarters. Enters tapped, and whenever this land enters the battlefield, we get to gain 1 life, and it has tap for a black or a white. So what I'm going to end up asking you is, what would you end up building? I would say I would probably try being into green. Is what I want to end up saying to go with. I would probably, since it's not going to be this basic types, I probably would end up trying to go like a green-black build that goes along with that. What I ended up doing was white, red, and then I dashed in a little bit black. So I went 3 colors. I went a little bit against the thing, and it didn't end up well. It started off decently where I ended up going, 2-0 for that match, but it went downhill after that. We had 3 matches that went on or 4 matches altogether, so I ended up going 1-3 for the night, and that definitely wasn't the right play that I ended up going with. Our pre-release also was a smaller group. It was a common thing all across the other stores. They ended up having lower volumes and stuff like that. We had 10 people that showed up to our event, but other stores were going up. Some of them weren't firing. I don't know what the next day, if that thing went on, if that event actually ended up happening or not, but it was down across the board. This was one of those sets that didn't end up having huge amount of success right off the get-go. I believe slowly as it's getting along, people are seeing the value that comes over with it, and it did have a pretty good experience that came over with it. Plus, honestly, this is going to be a side note that's going to come over with it. Talking about Universes Beyond, I love Universes Beyond, and to be personally thing is there might not be a universe that's not for you, and that's okay because you don't have to be playing it. I know this is one of those weird things that's in standard, so you're going to have to deal with it to a certain degree. But myself, I play Commander, so I end up getting a little bit out of it. I have to have a basic knowledge, but other than that, if I don't like a set, I don't dive into it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is one of those IPs that I would love, and I do love, and I ended up jumping over into it. We're going to see a few decks that's going to be here on this channel. This was also compared to the Spider-Man set, and to be honest, everyone says that it was horrendous, but it did pretty decently with everything that I ended up going with, and it sold decently as well. Well, not... It sold all right. Let's just say that. It sold all right with my talking with my local comic book or local gaming shop. But I think there's something that you can end up trying to get out of there. But this different IPs that's going along, this is going to attract new people to the game. And maybe this is a good way to get them hooked. Universes Beyond is trying to reach out to the people that wouldn't normally go over with it. So if you're trying to play this and you're a big Turtles fan, welcome to the team. If you're not a big Turtles fan, you can end up trying to go over and just take a break and not end up playing this set and go over to the next one, which is going to be Strixhaven. But hey, like myself, I'm not going to go too hardcore into Strixhaven. Then you have Marvel. Then you're going to have Star Trek. You got a whole bunch of stuff. Just if you're a big waiting for a certain IP, just be patient. Maybe it'll get there. But either way, this was a fun experience that I ended up having. It's an interesting way. And as we get along, we're going to try to do a little bit better with videos like this. I know this is a mile-long video, and I apologize for it. But we'll get a little bit better as we go along. We're just starting over with this and trying to get a little grasp and trying to adventure. And if this is something you're interested into, let us know down in the comments down below. And if you ended up watching all the way to the end, please put a comment in here. Say, I watched it to the end, and give me some kind of feedback that you thought about it. And I do appreciate you watching this video. And until next time, we'll see you later.